everyone, and welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we talk about nature, and I already forgot the intro. It's been too long.
Hey everyone, this is For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. Laura is not here, but Katy is, and as we talked about, we gave a little teaser in the last episode that I was going to go ahead and have some guests on. However, sometimes life happens, whether to Laura and I or to our guests. And so in this situation, just decided to mix things up. It is the end of season 5, which is super exciting for us because for some reason, we have been doing this for a year and a half and our numbers just keep skyrocketing. Why? Thank you. I don't know what else to say to you guys because honestly, I mean, we're excited about this. Laura and I love just making other people laugh and sharing our knowledge, but we've had so much fun over the last year and a half, and as we're prepping already for season 6, Kim, as we said, we are never taking a break again, and so Kim is going to do our season breaks now, so she has sort of some mini episodes. Do not skip over them. Why? Because Kim is funnier than Laura and I promise you. I've already heard a couple little snippets of it that Laura and I were listening to them. Let me just say, guys, Kim, she's amazing. She's our manager. If you guys are just now joining us, she keeps us on deadline. She keeps us on track. She just basically helps us with everything. So without further ado, we are going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about and highlight our top 15 favorite moments up until this point. So the first 5 seasons, these are our highlights. So without further ado, we're going to throw it back, way back to the very first episode where Laura and I are talking about our aspirations of having a goat milk soap farm / scorpion farm / butterfly farm. Or the short term, we wanted to start a band. So let's go ahead and play this clip. I am so sorry for this episode, guys. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was definitely like one of our big pipe dreams. And then even like short term, we were like, hey man, like we could probably make just money panhandling.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to have a shout out to our poor dream of Zuganru, which is going to be an amazing band with just the 2 of us.
Yeah. That makes it sound like so much poorer than what we were, but we really were that poor.
Okay, yeah, because like, yes, we're just above minimum wage, so we're pretty freaking poor.
Yeah.
and yeah.
Panhandling.
So yeah, you with your hand drum, and then
yes.
I'm like, oh yeah, I am so on board. So I got myself a Native American flute, and we
never practiced once.
Right. Not once. But
I brought the drum in. I remember that, and I remember we brought it in, and everybody was like, "What is that?" We're like, "We're starting a band."
Yeah.
Like what? Like we're starting a band. Like we're gonna be panhandling.
And remember when we decided that maybe your toddler could get in on it and start like slapping his cheeks,
slapping his cheeks, which still to this day he's very good at. And that is Katy Reiss original. I have not picked up that handpan in like 5 years, which shows how into Zuganru Laura and I were. But no, seriously, Zuganru is a term for migratory restlessness. I know we did mention it in another episode, but yeah, like who wants to start a band? We had several people after that episode asking us if Laura and I really are like that ridiculous in real life. And the answer is always yes. And we hope through these first 5 seasons that you have seen that like that's just normal conversation for Laura and I. It's just like these insane ideas. All right, so Zuganru, we're starting a band. All right, number 14. I actually forgot about this section until somebody mentioned it to me when I was going back through cutting other sections out of the episodes. And this one took me by surprise. I totally forgot about it. Is when Laura's mom got attacked by a raccoon.
So in 2020, my mom had a raccoon approach her and either accidentally bite her or scratch her. Oh, that's right.
I forgot about that.
It had the fishing hook in its mouth.
Yes, I remember that.
It like came walking up to her and rubbed against her pant legs, probably in a desperate cry for help. And it got stuck on her pants. They both rolled down a hill together as my dad is trying to beat it off with a stick. And didn't work.
Poor raccoon. It's just please, somebody help me.
It runs away.
The shit out of it.
It runs away as my mom is crying. Don't hurt it. It's just trying. It's not doing anything. And then she has to go to the hospital for rabies shots because she has a puncture on her leg, either from the raccoon when it was rolling down the hill or the hook. So I think it would be like my mom, where I'd be like, maybe it's just trying to ask for help. Meanwhile, it's a rabid raccoon trying to attack me. So yeah, for sure it would be like the taking me off guard. Look at this cute little raccoon. And then just trying to keep it away from me.
I remember when you messaged me about that because I remember reading it and I was laughing so hard.
Because it's the most random thing in the world.
It is, and I was trying very hard to type out, like, is she okay? But I couldn't stop laughing. I was just like, at the craziness of it. Man.
Yeah, what are the chances?
Shout out to Laura's mom for just being an unwilling participant on the show. All right, that was number 14. Number 13 was Laura and I were talking about the best ways to go out of this world. And I highlighted from my 8th grade English teacher how he always said that before he went out, or when he went out, this is how he wanted to go. I had was it my English teacher, my 8th grade English teacher, that he always told us that whenever he starts to get to the age where he's going to be too old, he wants to die by tobogganing down Mount Everest. And I have never forgotten that, of how amazing of a way that would be. Like, if you're going to die, I mean, might as well do something like so absurdly epic. Yeah. Tobogganing down Mount Everest, right? Continue. With your little tassel cap on, goggles, just passage.
Anciently old.
Yeah. What is that? Just like a snowdrift, like flying down the mountain.
Little icicles on their old man eyebrows.
All right. Good grief. So one of my favorite things about being a co-host with Laura is just, like, we feed off of each other's ridiculousness, and that is a prime example. Because first of all, let's just say, tobogganing down Mount Everest, that is a heck of a way to go. Heck of a way to go. Do I want to go that way? Maybe. I would consider it. Anyway, number 12. Could you fight that episode? Which a lot of our top 15 segments come from our Could You Fight That episode, because that one was just so funny. First of all, the title, just Could You Fight That? And I had a coworker that gave me a bunch of different animals that he thought I could fight, and then my son gave me a bunch of different animals that he thought I could fight, and it just snowballed from there. So this is one of the things that we said was about surviving in the ocean. If it was a survival aspect, which this is, I've already determined in a previous episode that I could definitely ride it. So 1, I would either ride it, or 2, I feel like I could just curl up in a tiny ball and just, like, survive it. Like, tuck and float in the water and just take it. That would be my anything in the water, just tuck and float. Just tuck and float. That needs to be on a t-shirt that Josh can make.
In someone in a little fetal position, but surrounded by sharks.
Tuck and float.
Tuck and float.
Tuck and float. Tuck and float. I really do feel like that needs to be on a t-shirt somewhere. All right, so we're going to talk about my apparent anger issues. And so this is going to be a collection of 5 different animals in which I clearly have more of a fight response than what Laura does. So the first one is going to be a swan. The second one is going to be a shoebill stork, which if you've never seen how badass that animal looks, please go look it up. A penguin, gerenuk, and then a camel. So Here's our next section. This is the top 11 segment of Katie's anger issues.
I feel like your response is more flight, where mine is more fight.
Yeah. Well, it would depend on the animal, I think.
Okay. Because if I was in that situation, I would totally grab that thing by the neck and drown it. Like, if I was in the water, grab its head, pull it down.
If it's near the swan, it's definitely going to be the swan.
But remember whenever we were kids, did you ever have to do, did you have swim class as a kid? Like in gym? So we had a pool, and they had to teach us to survive where they, you take off your pants, you flop it over your head, and make a flotation device. Did you ever learn to do that?
Okay, no.
So because I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, where we have rivers and stuff like that, we had to do these drills where you have a bathing suit on, you put clothes on, and they make you all jump in the pool, and then you have to take everything off.
That's cool.
And to survive, and so to float. And so you take your pants off, you tie the legs together, flop them over your head, and you have to tread water, and then pull them down over your head, catches enough air, and then you spin the bottom, and then you can put the tied legs around your head, like around your neck, and then just hold on to it. It's a flotation device. So take that picture, and that's what I would do with the swan.
The swan.
Pull its head down under the water, grab it with my legs.
And use it as a flotation device.
Use it as a flotation device until it drowns.
That's amazing.
How would I fight it? So most of it is by its beak, decapitating. It chomps it. It will kick. Just like most birds, like you said with the trumpeter swan, it'll kick. It'll do whatever it can. And, most of the time, because it's a bird, it's going to fly away. Fight or flight, it takes flight every time if it can. But if for some reason it was really pissed off at me, one, punch it square in its clog-faced mug.
Yep.
Then break its legs.
Oh. Just sweep them.
Just sweep it at the legs. Because bird bones are hollow, essentially.
Oh, jeez.
So again, this is where I feel like I went way more aggressive than what you did.
I don't think I killed a single animal in mine.
I didn't say I would kill it yet. I just said...
you drowned the swan.
Yeah, true. And then the shoe-billed stork break its legs. So maybe I want to fly away, but it clearly can't run away at this point. So then I would be able to run away. Unless you would have to grab it by the beak and then pull. The facial expression, because I started motioning what I was gonna do. And the look of horror. the look of horror on Laura's face. That's the silence you heard. Because...
Are you going to snap? Our listeners, Katie, I don't know how much they can take.
I'm so glad you have headphones on and your poor sweet baby isn't hearing any of this. But you would have to pull its beak out and then
karate chop,
push down on the back of its skull. How would I fight it? Because they do get pretty aggressive, and the males do have long sharp horns. So again, it would have to be same thing as yours, sidestep it. Okay? And then once I do, grab it by its neck, and then just
yes.
And I could not stop laughing at that image of how long its neck is.
Yeah.
That you just need to grab
the
anywhere. Yeah, and just grab it and then shake it.
It'd be like a cartoon.
Because I'm picturing tongue out, so aggressive shaking, tongue out, and it sounds like its tiny brain just in there rattling around like marbles of just
it's either that or you sidestep and clothesline it. With your arm.
I'm gonna shake it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna strangle it and shake it. Mostly because I want to hear it go. Because I'm pretty sure that's the sound it would make. All right, so my last actual animal was another one of my sons, a camel.
My gosh. That one is, you're right, that one is as scary as okay.
How would I fight it? Well, according to Lucas, I need to throat chop it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, throat chop a camel.
I don't know. I just have that much more of a fight response than Laura. So now we're into the top 10. The next one is another little collection of why koalas suck so bad. Guys, the closer we get to number 1, the more excited I get. So let's go ahead and listen.
Also, they're explosive.
What?
So eucalyptus trees, they explode.
What? Why?
So it has to do with the oil that's in them.
Okay, yeah.
So, a lot of...
the poison oil.
Yeah, the poison oil. So, a lot of, like, Texas, like, a lot of places around the world, it needs to have a natural burn. Yeah, so you gotta burn. Which is horrible anyway, because so many koalas get caught in these fires.
I know. I did know that they're in very fire-prone areas.
But also, this is horrible. But also, so not only is it toxic, they're not all that quick, but the eucalyptus trees explode. So,
when they light on fire.
Yeah, when they catch on fire I think it's because of the oil.
That is nuts.
Yeah, so they
live in a to explosive tree.
Explosive tree, yeah. Which I really thought you were going to bring up at some point.
I don't know, how did I miss that fact?
So it's a very high flammable vaporized eucalyptus oil, which is just produced by the tree naturally. So it's just like
I'll just live on this grenade and eat poison.
Yeah, just
what?
And live out my life, my happy little koala life. Oh goodness.
They have an upside down pouch.
Yep.
So opposite of a kangaroo,
it's like
opening faces downwards. Yeah. So usually you see this in burrowing marsupials like wombats because it doesn't let dirt in.
Yeah, makes sense.
Totally makes sense. So
Could you
they're thinking
just a pocket full of dirt, like they're just burrowing.
The baby comes out. It'd be so cute, but awful. But so they, clearly they think koalas probably used to burrow, but not for a real long time. But they kept that upside down pouch.
Instead of the safety of a burrow, let's climb into the toxic exploding trees.
Yeah, with an upside down pouch, like an upside down pouch for an arboreal species.
Doesn't make any sense.
So you'd think that babies would just be getting dumped out all the time. The only thing that keeps them in there has to be the fact that when they attach to the nipple, it swells up so much that they're stuck to it. And then finally, they almost all have chlamydia.
Yep.
Normally. Like, that's a normal thing. They all have
for
chlamydia.
Another reason why to not kiss them or anything. You don't.
A second reason to never kiss a koala. Those dirty koalas. It's normally not a problem unless they get stressed. Like if their tree explodes or if there's a fire or any other stressful situation.
Which is basically their life. Just one stressful situation after another.
But some scientists believe it's a natural control mechanism that makes sure the population doesn't get too out of control and only the strongest survive. As if everything else isn't controlling their population.
Right. Let's also give them chlamydia.
I cannot.
I'm sorry. I told you guys I would be laughing just as much as I did then. I record these and then Laura edits a lot of these or all of them. And so Laura edits them, and then I still listen to them, and I still laugh like an idiot, because half the time I forget everything parts of what I've said, and so I laugh like an idiot every single time with you guys. Good grief. All right, the next one, we're going to go back to Laura talking about swans, and our number 9, and we call it Swan Daddy.
Swan attacks. Swans are very territorial and protective of their nests. That's a great way to spin it. As Katie said, they're just dicks. It's the male's job to defend the nest and the female while she's on the eggs. So, most likely scenario would be me walking around a pond, minding my own business, but I end up getting too close to a nest.
Like just herping. Yeah.
Getting too close to a nest, and bam, daddy's on me. Again, didn't think about it till I said it.
Poor Laura. She has to put up with me so much. I swear I'm not a child, but so many of these things that she says are just so funny. So speaking of things that are said that are funny, so as everybody knows, we write our episodes separately. So I pick topics, like we pick a topic together, and then within the topic, let's just say for this next one, it is animals I could do without, which is highlighted for this next segment. So animals I could do without, that's the topic we pick. I pick some things to talk about, Laura picks some things to talk about, and our amazing manager Kim reads over our outlines, and she gives some of the best comments ever. So this next segment for number 8, I just read off all of Kim's comments about pandas, which, again, we love pandas as an animal, but there's some issues with pandas and money sucking all the conservation funds. But anyway, this is Kim's thoughts on pandas. So number 8, we have in panda penises.
Kim, our manager, she actually found a neat fact that one panda's conceiving window is like no more than 72 hours long, which is so stupid. Again, why? That's so short.
Yeah.
And the fertilized egg just floats around a little bit in the uterus before implanting. She said, for fun, just floating around, hanging out.
Yeah. Well, what is ours?
It takes a more direct, it's not like chilling there.
No. But I mean, our window of opportunity is pretty small like that.
Yeah,
right?
but we have it once a month.
Right.
Whereas
we're a super social species.
Yeah. That's a great way for saying we're super social species.
Well, no, I mean, opportunity would be readily available.
Yeah, where pandas, not so much. And then Kim's number 3 is tiny penises make loving hard. That was her point 3. Thank you for that, Kim.
Kim, you're amazing. Again, thank you for putting up with our shenanigans all the time. I don't know how you tolerate us or just like deal with us in meetings. Just thank you. All right, so panda penises. Number 7 is, we titled it Lichen Crispy Lips. Sorry. Like crispy lips. This is from one of our newer episodes, guys. I'm just gonna laugh harder because now we're getting into like my favorite, my personally absolute favorite segments, and I'm just gonna die every time I'm gonna have to introduce these now. So this is Liking Crispy Lips from our Title Pools episode. Just enjoy. Just to give you a refresher, lichen is made up of 2 organisms, a fungus and an algae. And that's your refresher. That's a lichen.
Then that's a lichen.
That's it. But they do serve a good purpose. They break down the rock, lichens do, and so that can help.
It's such a, okay, go with me here. Picture this, like you've zoomed into the splash zone, and all you see is this lichen, but it's anthropomorphized. So it's like, just like a little dude, all crispy and covered in salt, chapped lips, and it's just right. But it's so perfect because lichen is crispy and crunchy like that.
They are. Help me.
Or that's totally, they're just fine with it, just like, yay, what's up? Just like,
I'm liking my spot here.
We're so weird. All right.
If anybody else just laughed at that, please reach out to us because you are our people. I love it here. Oh, goodness. I'm glad we crack ourselves up. And again, if you did find that funny, please reach out to us because you genuinely are our people. All right, so at number 6, this was another one, like the Laura's Mom segment, that I totally forgot existed until somebody mentioned. And until somebody mentioned it to me. I was asking some other, some friends who I know listen to the podcast, and I was like, what are some of your favorite moments? And they were like, do you remember how many times Laura said she would go shirtless? I was like, what are you talking about? Sure enough, I went back and I listened. I totally forgot about this one too, but it is so funny. So this one we simply titled at number 6, shirtless.
Or like throwing your shoes at it, or taking off my shirt and throwing my shirt over it like a blanket, so that then I could.
taking off your shirt in this episode.
I don't know. You had pants. I mean, whatever, man. Survival.
Survival. Take off your shirt, quick. No, Katie, take off your pants. I'm glad we actually know that we could survive. Like, I actually do have really good survival skills. Other than just, like, take off my pants.
Right.
Trust me.
All right, that is not my only survival skill, I promise. So, number 5, if you've listened to any episode within the podcast, you know that no matter how many times I try, I practice. Well, I don't practice a whole lot. I run through my scripts. I sound things out. I look up pronunciations on YouTube. I am ready to go. And then when we're actually recording, it's not like I get stage fright or anything like that. It's just, as soon as we get ready to go, I just cannot say what I need to say. And so I mispronounce everything. Did I have enough time to go back through every single episode and pull out all of the clips that I mispronounced things? No. Because unfortunately, there are just way too many. So these are just some of the highlights. So, and number 5 is Katie mispronounces everything.
About this too.
Yeah. Or it's right. I'm gonna try so hard.
I feel like we need to like insert music.
Hold on, let me break this up. Vampiroteuthis?
Toothus.
Is
like
it?
Architeuthis.
Okay, toothus.
You know, like Architeuthis, the giant squid.
Okay, that makes sense. Infernalis. Close enough. All right.
So now that we are within the top 5, guys, these are by far, if somebody who doesn't know that I have a podcast comes up to me and says, oh, you have a podcast, or I mention it, I should say, and then they ask me what are some of my favorite episodes, these top 4 are by far the ones that I always highlight. So coming in at number 4, can anybody guess what it is? Probably not, because it's chicken slapping.
I went with some ridiculous nature news.
Fantastic.
I've been talking about it like for 2 weeks. And here's the headline of the article. See if I can keep it together. After years of trying, somebody finally just cooked a chicken by slapping it. So I was like, oh, what is this about? Yes. So apparently Reddit.
Thank you, Reddit.
Apparently, years and years ago, somebody asked a question on Reddit. If kinetic energy is converted into thermal energy, how hard do I have to slap a chicken to cook it? And so some physics people chimed in saying what you'd have to do. So they were very specific. How much your hand weighs, the velocity, the average rotisserie chicken weight.
Let me just pause.
Blah, blah, blah.
I love science. I love the science field because it's so many people that we take it so, like, jokes so seriously. And there's so many times where I have to explain to people, like, I'm not alone in, like, doing pranks and taking, like, stupid situations seriously. Like, there's a whole group of us out there.
Right. Because obviously somebody both probably genuinely wanted to know and was also just messing around. And then a physics person was like, well, you would have to slap a chicken at 3,725 miles per hour in order to cook it with one hit.
With a normal size hand? Okay.
Yeah, our normal sized hand. No baby hand slapping chickens. So you could slap it if you could do 3,725.95. But the Earth only spins at 1,000 miles per hour. So like 3 times
you would put the Earth
rotation of
off
Earth.
kilter then, wouldn't you? I'm slapping chicken so hard.
Well, not only that, but literally if you did slap a chicken that hard, it would explode into a billion pieces.
Which cooked
yes, it'd be cooked, but it'd be like tiny little fragments. So instead, then they were like, okay, so what about if you slap it enough times? Okay. So somebody was saying, could you slap it 3,726 times at 1 mile per hour to cook it? And people are like, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
That seems like they've pretty slow slapping.
yeah, 1 mile per hour. I don't know. But of course, leave it to the YouTube and the internet community to figure this out, because people have been building machines, chicken slapping machines, to try and figure this out. And finally, someone did it. Okay, so
you should be able to share your screen on here too.
I just need you to see how fast it's being slapped. All right, where's screen? Here we go. Screen. It's thinking. It's
okay.
Thinking.
You're good.
Okay, we're back. We're in business. Here we go. Just watch how fast this is. Wait, I can mute it. That way we don't have to.
Oh my gosh, that is.
So anyway, he built this machine. It broke multiple times because of how fast it's going. Like, literally, like, pieces are flying off.
There's so many jokes to insert right there.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Because it's also the name of the machine.
Oh,
hold on.
Yes.
I was dying. Like, it was like a good name, too.
I love scientists.
All right, well, while I find that. Oh, yes, it's called the Meat Slapper 9001.
That's awesome.
Oh, the Meat Slapper 9001. So, I had a really good friend. He actually sent me, there was a GIF that somebody made. It's just like a hand slapping like a whole rotisserie chicken. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I laughed about that episode for weeks after the fact of just the chicken slapping. All right, so the next, the next one is number 3. I almost don't even want to spoil it for you. But this one, I didn't even know this word existed. Laura found it. Thank God. Oh my goodness. Just here we go. Coming in at number 3. So we are in the top 3 right now of mine, Laura, and Kim's favorite sections. Number 3, squirrel splooting.
Well, my nature news is really simple, but there's several articles. I saw on Facebook an article, took me down, kept finding more articles about this. This one's from Texas. And this one is why squirrels are splooting in the heat and what we can do to help them.
What?
Yes, splooting. Splooting. Splooting.
Can I have a definition and a state of origin?
I've never heard of splooting.
Neither have I.
I'm so glad I know what it is now. It is specifically the squirrel behavior when they lie flat on the ground like they've melted.
Yes. That is such a good word.
Yeah.
Splooting.
Because I constantly do see squirrels do it.
Splooting.
So,
yeah.
Splooting everywhere. So, as we all know, it has been hot as Hades in most of this part of the country. So the poor little squirrels are melting, and you'll see them doing this behavior called splooting, which is basically them trying to increase their surface area to cool down.
Okay.
You know, you see dogs even do it too, but you'll see squirrels sprawled out on branches, sprawled out on the concrete. They're trying to like get as much of their body cooled off as they can.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, some people are noticing that, like, once the squirrel has splooted, like, when you get up, they're so hot. So, what can you do to help? You can put out water dishes for these poor splooted squirrels. I just want to say it as many times as I can.
I know. It is so good every time.
I wish... I laugh just as hard every time. Splooting squirrels. I'm not going to torture you guys by going into my brain, but there's just so many other things for the adults. There's so many other things you could put in exchange for splooting. Splooting squirrels. All right, here we are. We are down to the top 2. Now, this one, again, throwback to very early on. We are talking about our favorite creepy crawly. So people don't like insects. What are the best like introductory insects to get people kind of warmed up to liking insects, even though they don't? And we picked several, and one of Laura's was an earthworm. And this was the first point in our podcast. I genuinely say we tried to start off fairly professional, even though we laughed from like episode 1. Everybody listens to number 1 episode, of course, because you're going to start at the beginning. But this part is the first one where I genuinely just could not stop laughing, even after the episode. I couldn't stop laughing at what Laura said. So coming in at number 2, I can't even say it. It's slow motion hose.
We absolutely need worms. They are completely vital to healthy soil. If there was any doubt about roly-polies, there is no doubt about worms, okay? Their poop, also known as casts, provide homes to tons of beneficial microbes and bacteria. They turn the soil over and distribute nutrients. And it's claimed that they can turn over the top 6 inches of soil in an area in 10 to 20 years. They're like
that's pretty impressive.
Slow motion hose. As I said it, I realized how it would sound. But I didn't mean it that way. I meant the gardening hoe. Okay.
I mean, how can you not read it that way? Oh, anyway, again, I laughed for weeks after that because we record these pretty far in advance, for the most part, pretty far in advance from the release date. And so I had to wait at least a few weeks or so until I could start telling people about this. And I was dying at laughing every time it came up. I was so excited when this episode was released because, one, I really felt like it showed not only mine and Laura's normal personality of just like I could not control my laughter of just something insane that Laura has said, but mostly I feel like this episode was the pivoting point because we got so much positive feedback about just even that one little section that it was a pivot point for like the direction that we started to go, even very early on in season 1. So, without further ado, number 1. What is the number 1? Again, it is from a fairly recent episode, early this fall. As you guys know, Laura, actually it was a year ago. Good grief, where has the year gone? Laura had a baby, and we did an ode to Laura's baby with an episode called Ugly Animal Babies. And within there, this was not scripted. This was just, again, one of those tangents that Laura and I went off on. Guys, this is my top number 1, Laura's top. Goodness, it's just funny. So I can't keep talking about it because I'm just going to keep laughing about it. Please enjoy our number 1, which is we call it Fused Baby Boobs.
And the babies, although this actually kind of makes them cute rather than ugly, but they're called imps.
Yeah.
Because they're devils.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they are disgusting. They attach onto the nipple, and they don't let go for 100 days, like creepy little parasites.
Yeah, which I believe that is an all marsupial fact.
Yes.
I don't think there's any
they
marsupials.
They almost, like, fuse on.
Yeah, which is disgusting in itself that it, like...
Yeah.
Can you imagine if, like, you just had to walk around with a baby fused to your boob for, like, how many months? Just, like... For those of you who can't see, Laura just shimmied.
We started to navigate anywhere through doorways, just slinging your fused baby through openings.
I just picture like going into a store, like off clothes racks. Like shelves, just like taking everything out with this fused baby.
It's so gross. And I just imagine it being completely limp.
Yeah,
Because
right.
it's just like this limp. So, oh, man.
That's an image. An image it's not going to go out of my brain anytime soon, and I'm so happy.
I know, agreed. It'll only get better and better. My own head will keep elaborating on it.
Of all the things that this fused baby's going to knock over.
Or like the modified clothing that you'd have to have.
Oh, goodness.
Or the day that they're finally ready to let go. Like ripe fruit that just fall off.
That has to be such a relieving feeling. Like 100... like 100 times better than when you get home at the end of a long day and take off your bra. Like, it has to be so much better. And then it just, like, thumps. And that's because you have to be, like, ready to catch it. So
I'm just imagining, again, you just brought up this store. There's just you're shopping, you don't have a baby attached to your chest. But from a couple aisles away, you just hear, oh! And then a thump. And you're like, oh, kid must have dropped.
It's still so good every time. All right, everyone. So that was our top 15 from the first 5 seasons. Again, we say it pretty much every episode. Thank you all for listening. The first 5 seasons that you guys have really made it. We are not taking a break anymore. Like I said earlier, we're going to have Kim up with some of our mini episodes. Please stick around and listen to these. They are going to be fantastic because it's Kim and she's way funnier than Laura and I. And we will see you next season in season 6. Can you believe it? Season 6. So until then, listen to Kim's mini-series seasons. Good grief, is that a tongue twister? Talk about things I can't pronounce. Go visit us on Patreon and support us if you can, because it only helps us to bring you more content. Until then, we'll talk to you next week.